Okay. The 20% say stuff like things you can't handle, like, oh, I work for Wusthof, and or I work for Henkel's, and my son works for Henkel's. He gets me free knives every 6 months. Or I only buy blue handled knives. Or, my mom has passed down these knives. This has been a tradition for years and years. I've had these knives forever, and it's a family heirloom, and this is all we refuse to eat with. Okay, so if they say something like that, what can you do? You can't do anything about it. You wrap up, you leave. Okay, John. So first thing we need to establish is, was this customer the 80% or the 20%? Okay, so did they say one of the five normal objections, or did they say something odd? Okay. Well, I can't afford it is what is the number one objection, right, John? So 80%. So they're in the 80%, right? Okay, so 80%. So what that means is that they could have been sold or convinced. You just have to take responsibility for not getting the job done in that scenario, John. All right, and it doesn't mean you did a bad job. It just means that you didn't convince them, that they weren't sold on your presentation. They weren't sold on what you said, and therefore they could have bought, but they didn't. Okay, so that's what the 80% means. Can't afford it is, unless if you're seeing someone who's employed, John, and has a job, okay, they can afford a piece of cacao. All right, let's just get that out of the way right off the bat. Okay, so that's the point. So remember, John, a sale is made on every single interaction that we have. Either you sell them, okay, on your point of view, or they sell you on their point of view. Okay, so what did your customer say again? Couldn't afford it. Okay, and you believe them, right? Yeah. All right. So then, guess who got sold? I got sold. All right, yeah, you got sold. Right? They sold you on their point of view. Okay, and it could be, by the way, it could be any objection. Oh, they had to ask their husband. Okay, so John, did you believe them? Yeah. Okay, so then you got sold on that concept. All right. So do you think she ever bought something without her husband ever? Yeah. Okay. Well then, see, she just sold you on that idea, on that point of view. I'm sure if you told her that you can give her a homemaker for $20, she wouldn't be like, oh, I have to ask my husband before I spend $20, all right? She would just buy it. So she didn't see the value, and you could have done it better showing her your point of view, okay? So first off, the number one thing, John, is you got to take responsibility, okay? If you don't take responsibility, if you don't say, I could do better, if you blame your customers, or you blame your situation, or you believe their story, then you're just not gonna be able to do well. You're just not gonna be able to sell. So that's the number one thing. So understand that you could have done better. You could have handled it better, and that's fine. And once you understand that, now you can go into the next one. You can start improving. That's how improvement happens. If you don't think there's nothing you could do, John, then how can you possibly improve? Okay, because well, there's nothing I could do. Okay, they were in the 20%. Well, they weren't in 20%. So you have to accept that 80% of the people can be sold, and you can sell them. All right, and I believe you can too. That's why I'm in this conversation. So what can we do next time? So John, so we know the person that they can't afford it. What can we do next time to make sure that does not happen on the next demo? Okay, most of the time they will say, I don't know. Okay, it's like, well, John, that's not true. All right, you do know. All right, you're an intelligent human being, correct? Yes. Do you go to college? Yes. Okay, so you can figure it out. All right, so if I said I'll give you $1 million, if the next person doesn't say I can't afford it to you, you would figure it out. So let's think about this. What can we use? What can we do to make sure they didn't say it? Hey, I got an idea, John. Do you have that common errors thing that you had in training? Let's take that out. Let's see if you made any of the common errors that most reps make. Okay, so what's the first one there? Cut food. Did you do that? No. Okay. Or oh yes. What'd you cut? A carrot. All right. Is that it? Yeah. So what could you have done to maybe make the people want it more? I probably could have cut more food. Awesome. Okay, so that's something you could have done. So on the next demo, can you cut more food to make sure you don't can't afford it? Yes, I could. All right, what's the next one say? I'm not going to go through all the common objections, right? Didn't build enough value in the demo. Okay, John. All right, so could you have built more value? How could you have built more value? All right, you presented the price in the weak way. All right, so John, do you have your clothes memorized? Okay, what can you do? I can memorize the clothes. By the way, these solutions are right on here, so they can figure it out themselves, and you can just have them read it, okay? And eventually, they should get tired of this sheet, okay? They should get to the point where they're like, okay, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done that, and they should get better at it themselves. And you should have this conversation with them every single time they get the same objection, all right? It doesn't have to be this long, but I'm just giving you an overall gist, all right? So this should be like the first conversation with the rep. All right, so John, would you mind if I also, so we know what you did wrong, we know you can get better, we know you can improve. Would you mind if I give you a suggestion on what you can do to improve? Okay, great. All right. Here, give them a video to watch. You can go on a field training. Hey, why don't you call Sally? I got her number right here. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at my PDI roster, and she has 3 demos tomorrow. Could you give her a call and see if you can go watch her demo? She just sold $3,000 last week. Oh, okay, cool, good. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so John, I don't remember. Am I talking to John? John, I just want to remind you, by the way, that the goal here is for you to become an FSM, okay? Making freaking stupid money. That's what we want. And you just got to learn the skills. Get to half, okay? So we got to figure out, you got to learn the skills, and then you have to figure out how to stay motivated towards a goal and how to overcome challenges and how to influence people, okay, to your position. And you'll make a lot of money in the process, John. So it's easy. If it was easy, John, if it was like it came like that and it was easy, then it wouldn't be special. Everybody would do it. So remember, 90% of success is just showing up with a smile on your face. Remember that all the time, okay? So do you have more demos to do today? No? All right, so let's get some phone time. It says here on your roster here that you wanted to do 5 today. You only got 3. So let's get on the phone and get some more demos, okay? You're gonna do awesome, buddy. All right. So how many phone calls can you make right now? 2, 3. Okay. Well, John, 2 or 3. That's not enough. All right. So we want you to be a champion. So can you make 15 phone calls? Yes. Okay. So make 15 phone calls, and I want every single person you talk to, I want you to tell them that that you need another demo for tonight. You know, is there any way you can squeeze me in? All right. So, and I know you're going to do awesome, John. Let's get you to FSM, and let's make sure this week rocks. All right. So great learning experience, and we'll talk to you later, buddy. Bye. Great, something like that, okay? So all that is on here, okay? I just basically read it if you didn't see me looking down. But that's just that's a conversation you can have, and different versions of that. But the first conversation is the important thing that the reps have to do is they can't blame customers. They have to blame themselves and say, I can get better. And once they do that, once they don't see it as a bad thing, but as a good thing, as a source of improvement, as a force of I can get better, now they work toward, now they're calling you saying, oh, what should I do this time? Or I can get better at this. Instead of saying, oh, my customers, oh, the area I live in I can't sell, okay? So that's that. So that's the second thing of, second part of PDI is to give education. Okay. The third thing is to give information. Okay. So when is the next event? When's the next phone jam? When's the next meeting? PC, SLDM, conference, division meeting. And by the way, the goal is not to just tell them it is. You don't want to say, hey, John, just wanted to let you know there's a meeting tonight. We have a phone jam beforehand. Make sure to bring your recommendations. Okay, I'll see you tonight, right? Is that okay? You're going to be there, right? Okay. That is not how you do it. Okay. So, hey, John, just to remind you, man, we've got an amazing meeting planned for you tonight. You know how, like, last week you told me you wanted to be over $1,000? Tonight's meeting will totally get you there. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but it is going to be amazing. We're going to cover exactly what you need. If you're having trouble, can't afford it, we're going to be covering that tonight, okay? So you definitely want to take a ton of notes. By the way, beforehand, we're doing a phone jam, and as you know, we're going to probably doing dial for darts, or, we'll be doing this, so you can get Cutco bucks, or you get the stuff, so you're going to get to see some other people, so you can get field training. That's why you want to be in there, so you can do field training. By the way, have you ever taken someone on a field training? Yeah, I know you're only at $500, Sean, but that's fine. But to take somebody else on your demo, and so that's the reason why we do these phone jams, so you can meet everybody else, you get a good feeling, everybody's doing the same thing. So make sure you bring all your recommendations. You don't want to be like the person who only sets up 2 appointments, when everybody else sets up 7 or 8. So make sure you bring all your recommendations, bring your names list, bring your chicken list, bring all that stuff, so we can get you a bunch of demos this weekend and get you a great check. All right, John? Cool, man. Well, that's tonight. 6:30 is that phone jam.